My first fandom interactions were in the German science fiction forum, which was full of the kind of fans who now go on about how Star Trek Discovery ruins Western civilization. So my idea about Star Trek Voyager before watching it was a bit skewed. They would constantly go on and on about how incompetent Janeway as a captain was and how irrational she was, and also what a cute eye candy 7 of 9 was. But as I actually started watching Voyager, Janeway turned out to make rather smart choices most of the time. And yeah, 7 of 9 wears a objectifying, kind of gross, kind of out of character costume, but also her actress was so good and her character so multi-layered that I barely noticed it after a few minutes. She spent most of her life as being a Borg drone, which is this species of cyborgs connected with a hive mind who assimilate people and sometimes even rule cultures who they think will add to their own perfection. Their lives and experiences are very different from the other species in Star Trek in that a drone is not really a person, but more a cell of a huge organism that spans light years. 7 joins the Voyager crew at the beginning of the 4th season, after they were in their mission to find a way back home, forced to work together with the Borg, who are usually the most terrifying enemy the Federation encountered. However, she was left on the ship, so they made the decision to remove most of her implants, and she was forced to integrate herself into the crew, at first against her will. After she has healed, she looks like a tall, white human woman with this absolutely awful catsuit and high heels. Why would you wear high heels on a spaceship? That are hand-waved to aid with regenerating her skin. But she doesn't really have any of the social knowledge to interact with other people. The Borg don't need emotions and approach everything from a technological or scientific standpoint, so she does that too. Because of this, she is cold, rational, quite often comes off as rude, and she also isn't interested in anything traditionally feminine. This and also her general connection with technology, which is also male-coded, she comes off as quite masculine from her behavior. She also has quite a rational approach to sexuality and romance, and generally isn't very interested in it at all. That was something I could relate to. Sexuality and romance basically being this inside joke nobody ever explains to you. She shows how gender is a learned behavior, which is something I myself noticed because how I, as an autistic person, don't really know all of these social rules everybody else knows automatically, and so also didn't really manage to perform gender the way that was expected for me. And that was even written in my diagnosis paper. She dresses like a boy as a proof that I am developmentally disabled. Just like Data and Spock, 7 also is this accidental, relatable character for the autistic community. 7 also feels vaguely queer because of this. Her interactions with Captain Janeway, who ends up mentoring her quite quickly, quite often have undertones that can definitely be interpreted as being romantic. They not just discuss the meaning of religion and human nature, but also look deep into each other's eyes. Janeway recognizes 7 of 9 from several different timelines away. Seven lets her alter one of her implants to get out of confinement using its technology, and worries where she will belong, and Janeway reassures her that she belongs on the Voyager. There is a reason this is such a popular ship. Several decades later, Seven appears again on Star Trek Picard, and funnily enough, is established as actually being bisexual. Her romance with Raffi Musiker, who served as Picard's first officer a few years earlier, is just implied in the first season but becomes very much canon later. I love that for once they picked up the vibe from Voyager and actually made it canon. However, not all about her character is so progressive, even looking past the awful clothing. The Borg, their merging of male-seen technology and female-seen organisms and general otherness are treated as something she has to learn away from to become a normal person. Like with real-life cyborgs or really just anybody who looks visibly disabled, her implants are treated as a part of otherness and showing her trauma instead of just being part of her body. The Borg could also be seen as a corruption of the radical connection described in a Cyborg manifesto. The more in-depth video, Star Trek and Female Cyborgs 7 of 9 by the sci-fi feminist, also brought up that this objectifying catsuit and the high heels can also be seen as an attempt to neuter how much she otherwise subverts binaries. Interestingly, this video also uses a Cyborg manifesto as framework, and I can only recommend watching it and will also link it below.